Let's get to the heart of the matter. You're a sprawling conglomerate. You're still cash negative. The days of this structure are over. This company should be broken up. The activists have a fair point.
That remains to be seen. I mean, the question here is, and this is what we've outlined with our Q3 numbers, is that we do see huge potential in the current portfolio, and this is clearly my mandate currently, which I've been given by the board to manage the company in the state as it is, while they're searching for a new head of supervisory board and a new CEO. But if you take a look at the businesses, you see really huge potential. We've outlined $1 billion of free cash you can really make coming out of these businesses that are currently there, which currently would be at comparably minus 800 today. This, for a 3 years horizon, gives a clear indication that there is potential, which we need to focus and address clearly.
So good morning to you, Guido. So you clearly have a mandate that's to run the business as it is, as interim CEO, as you say. But could a new CEO consider a fuller breakup of ThyssenKrupp? One analyst said recently that the profit warning you gave was so bad it was good because they thought it would be a big catalyst for big change at ThyssenKrupp. Could a new CEO deliver that?
That remains to be seen, depends on new people on board. What we clearly see and what we hear clearly announced as a management team, you have to address the issues that you have, and especially at Industrial Solutions, we've laid out what we see what is necessary to make it a turnaround and a profitable business again. This is what we're addressing, and next update on that will be in November. We need to focus on smaller items in revenues. We need to focus on a better cost structure and delayering there, and this is what we definitely address. And on the other hand, you see the businesses are still growing. Third quarter clearly shows that like for like, we had an uptake in order intake and sales of 7%, respectively 9%.
Guido, it certainly sounds as if you are there to steer the ship until a decision has been made. I get a sense of perhaps you're looking after while bigger issues are discussed. Have you or are you discussing with the board the possibility of spinning off the elevator unit? We saw Siemens spin off various units successfully. Is that something that you could look at in your interim role?
No, this is clearly not my mandate as the interim role. I'm focusing on improving the businesses and clearly show what potential is in there.
And in terms of what the activists are pushing for then, Guido, they've said, well, we understand that Elliott, speaking to a German newspaper recently, talked about focusing on costs at the centre, and that is something that you are looking at, isn't it? So how ambitious are you going to be in slimming down those central corporate costs at ThyssenKrupp?
Yeah, that's indeed. I think we've already taken a big step compared to the 9 months last year. We're 100 million down, and we've clearly said we want to reduce to significantly below 400 in our target here, and the relative number from last year was 535. So indeed, we're making big progress and more to come.
Guido, can I ask you in terms of, I just want to I get this sense that you're in this holding pattern. Are you definitely not in the running to take on full-time CEO? What's your ambition in this project?
Look, I don't want to contribute to any kind of speculation here. I have a clear mandate, and I want to make clear what is the potential in this company. I'm for quite some time with the company. I think I know what we can do. And this, what we have proposed for the midterm, is something that the full business leadership team sees as potential in the company. And this is what we want to work on. And if talks about ownership structures within the group should happen, again, this is something for a new CEO, for a new setup, and it remains to be seen how this discussion goes.
So the structure might be for the new CEO, Guido, and indeed the relationship with the activist investors will be for the new CEO as well. I saw that your ex-chairman accused activist investors of using psycho-terror tactics to destabilise the company recently. Is that how it feels at ThyssenKrupp? Is that what activists are doing?
This was a generic statement from our former chairman of the supervisory board. I wouldn't like to comment on that one.
Guido, let's get to something maybe we can get our teeth into. The state of the world, the state of demand. Give me your take in terms of the world economy at the moment. Trade wars, trade tats, tit for tats. Where are we? Tell me how the world looks to you.
Well, we live in a world of a bit more uncertainty everywhere, trade wars coming or not coming. Our business setup is largely to that extent that we produce and sell basically in the areas where we are selling. So production and sales are largely in the regions where we're in. So you do see some effects, for example, at components where we have translatory effects, but definitely we're well set up to produce in the regions where we sell. We don't like protectionism. We like free trade. That's clear. This is always only good for business in the long run and for the countries to develop. Trade wars never help anyone. So we're not a friend of that, but we have to deal with the issues as they are. We're well set up worldwide. We're producing where we're selling, and we have a clear plan forward. And I hope that these uncertainties will definitely go away, because for all involved parties, it can only be good to have a solid and stable environment in which you can work. Otherwise, capex and investments will always be rejected or postponed. This is never good for business everywhere.
And one thing that we've talked about in the past, Guido, when we talked about the tariff environment for steel, is fears among European steelmakers about Chinese dumping. Are you seeing enough action from European authorities? Are you seeing any evidence of dumping by China into the European market?
I mean, if we take a look back in 2015, we clearly saw that the Chinese prices for material in Europe were going down like hell, and we had a big crisis in steel. Ever since, this has come down quite a bit. If you take a look at the results European steelmakers are currently doing, you see that the import levels have still been on the same level coming from China, but the price competition has been a bit less. So currently, the situation with the strong demand in Europe is, I think, for the industry acceptable, but it remains to be seen where it goes, because the overcapacity in China is still there. They're addressing it in the country, but nevertheless, it remains to be seen, and we need to closely watch what's going on.